Here's what Just Some Guy says. He says, I'm in agreement with you on the sacrifices in general, but I struggle with understanding how to address the Day of Atonement and the physical sacrifices needed for it. Okay, I'm with him so far. To greatly paraphrase the book of Hebrews, it reads to me like Yeshua, as the high priest in heaven, has taken over the yearly atonement sacrifice from the Levitical priesthood. That is not how it reads to me. Let's stop right here. I think that this is where I'm going to disagree. I think the idea that Yeshua replaces the Levitical priesthood on the Day of Atonement is not what Hebrews is saying. I think that what Hebrews is saying is that in the heavenly place, in the heavenly temple, Yeshua has gone in one time instead of yearly. So it's different. In other words, there's a different law in heaven than there is on earth. Yeshua took his blood in, presented his blood was accepted. He sat down at the right hand of the Father. And he does this for individual sin. In other words, he does this so that I, Caleb Hegg, or Rob Van Hoff, or just some guy can stand righteous before the Almighty God. Whereas the Levitical priesthood on the Day of Atonement goes into the inner sanctuary as a picture of that, first of all, but he does it for the nation of Israel. He doesn't do it for individuals. It's not so that Caleb Hegg or Rob Van Hoff or just some guy can be purified. It's so that the nation of Israel can be seen as right before God. And ultimately, it's a picture of what the high priest in the heavenly court does and did only one time. And he talks about this, right? He says, unlike the priesthood here, who I'm paraphrasing, who had to go in every year, but he did it one time. And so I think, he's saying that the priesthood here is a shadow of what's going on, like what is really needed. But ultimately, I don't think that he's saying what happened here on earth is now replaced by that. I don't think that that's exactly what's going on. So do you want to say anything about that before I go on?
No, keep going.
Okay. So just some guy continues on. I know the law has not waxed old. I know the earthly priesthood and the high priests could have insufficiencies because they are not eternal. Exactly. Could this specific sacrifice with blood being applied to the mercy seat as part of the covenant that specifically required that blood due to the golden calf incident at Mount Sinai, could that sacrifice also have waxed old as part of the old? Okay, hang on. We have to stop here because this is where he totally loses me. As part of the covenant that specifically required that blood due to the golden calf incident at Mount Sinai, that's not why blood was required. Blood was required from the very beginning. On the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. And then God kills animals to cover Adam and Eve. Blood is not the requirement due to the golden calf incident on Mount Sinai. And
that's an important point.
Well, I want you to make the point because I don't want to take your thunder. On Monday, you brought up that the Day of Atonement, in chronological order, is given before the golden calf. Talk about that for a second.
Right. Yeah, that was the one point that I think is part of this larger discussion. Is if someone is suggesting that the Day of Atonement is a response to the golden calf incident, you'd have to go back and look at Exodus. Because in Exodus, because remember, the way to think about it is you have Moses goes up on the mountain and he receives all the intricate details of the materials that are going to be brought, that Israel's going to bring, how they're going to be put together to all the different parts of the holy place, the Holy of Holies, and all the the ark, table of showbread, the menorah, holy place, all the stuff, all the vessels of the Mishkan, and how they're to be arranged, their sizes, dimensions, materials, everything, right? So Moses is getting that on the mountain, and he's up there for 40 days and 40 nights, right? And he comes down, and they had just made, the people couldn't wait that long. Like they're waiting those 40 days, and they're like, Moses, he must not be coming back. And they build the golden calf. So, but before, Moses knows that they're even doing this, right? He's getting instructions of what's going to happen. And that's in Exodus 30, verse 10.
Yeah. So in other words, let me try to restate succinctly what you have just said. In other words, the Yom Kippur setup is given before Mount Sinai. In other words, this is going to be part of the sacrificial system even before the golden calf incident happens.
Right. Because a key, and here's an important thing to remember, is that the altar of incense is an integral vessel or piece to the interaction of the Holy of the spaces between the holy place and the Holy of Holies, right? Because it's right there by the curtain.
Right.
It's part of the build design of the whole Mishkan. is the altar of incense.
He's already centering around it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and in verse 10 of Exodus 30, Aaron shall make atonement on its horns once a year. He shall make atonement on it with the blood of the sin offering, atonement once a year throughout your generations. It's most holy to the Lord. So Aaron doesn't even know this yet.
Right.
Aaron doesn't even know that God has a something that he's going to be doing. Moses knows it. God's telling Moses that Aaron's going to be doing this. And then that obviously his sons after him, because it says throughout your generations, and it's most holy. So then it's after this revelation of the Mishkan that Moses comes down and he hears that they have just done this. And who's involved? Aaron.
Right.
This is again a picture of God's forgiveness.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and check out more videos from Messiah Matters.